Well, last season was a struggle. I mean, there's no way to work around that in any other way. And we've talked about that since the season ended with the returning group. In order for us to fix it, we have to own it and face it head on, sit down, figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong, and what do we have to do to change it. And that starts with me all the way through every other person involved in the program. And we've taken a long look at a lot of stuff. We've made some changes. We've I think done the things that will help us get moving back in the direction taking us to the place where we want to be.
What are some of those areas that you've had after sitting down with the team that you've been able to address? All right, these areas A, B, and C that we kind of need to...
We changed the way we structured our strength training in the spring with a much greater emphasis on the strength training part and a little bit less on the conditioning part. And what we saw was our kids really attack things in the weight room. And we saw some people who needed to get stronger. And we're seeing that now in the practice gym. We kind of retooled the way we recruit and tried to start the process a little bit earlier to make sure that we're spending a little bit longer time developing relationships with kids in the process and getting a really good feel for them so that we're absolutely sure that they're a fit for what we do here, not just on the court, but off the court, that they're on board with the type of culture that we want our program to be about.
Graduate a small senior class of two, but two that played significant time for you. Turning the page to this season, talk about this group of kids you have now and kind of filling those voids in order to get you the best seven.
Well, the void left by Audrey Stringer is very, very difficult to fill. She's one of the best players who's ever played here. So I don't know that you ever look at it and go, we're going to plug this player into that spot. And you do a variety of things to kind of fill the hole that she left. And that's the way we're approaching it, because it's unfair to put the burden on one player to do that. So we have to create some things within our offense to kind of fill the void that Audrey leaves. We're fortunate in Emily's spot that we had some young players who played the same position as her, who are experienced and ready to step in.
From a leadership perspective this year, tell us about your two team captains and the added role you kind of see them taking this year.
Zan and Maddie were selected as team captains by a vote of their teammates, and they've done a fantastic job so far. They've set the bar high. Their expectations are very high. It's their last year. They want it to be the best possible year they can be, and they've done a good job of communicating that. But they've also been helped. We have a leadership council that includes two of our other seniors, Anna Conti and Tori Wakely. We spent a lot of time with them this spring talking about leadership, talking about what it meant, and how it's manifested in a variety of different ways and the different roles that each of them can play in that process.
Looking into some of the positions now for this year, we'll start at middle hitter. You mentioned graduating Audrey, you mentioned Zandria kind of taking a leadership role there. Do you kind of hope that she kind of takes control of that position group?
Well, she's the most experienced player we have there. We're moving Nikki Carpenter from the right side back to the middle, which is her natural position. It's the position that she played all through high school, all through club, but we felt like she wasn't quite ready to step into that at the college level as a freshman. So we played her on the right side last year, and she was able to get a lot of valuable on-court experience. We've moved her back into the middle, and so far we're seeing the benefits of her experience playing at the speed that she's going to have to play at, and she's had a really good camp. And then the third part of that group is a freshman, Taylor Brown, who comes with a little lack of experience in terms of playing time and playing level, but she's met the challenge of being in our gym, and she's made a lot of progress in 2 weeks, and we're really encouraged about watching her continue to develop this year, and really excited about what she's going to be able to do down the road in our program.
Moving over to the outside, you've got a healthy mix. You've got some upperclassmen who've been here, and you've also got a lot of young faces, some sophomores and freshmen out there. How do you see that depth outside? On
the left side, we're a little thin at both spots. I'd like to be a little bit deeper at each spot, but the people that we have are solid. So I don't worry about it from that standpoint. I know that we have talented kids. The question is, we're not set up real well to overcome a lot of injuries. But the group that's there on the left side, our senior is Tori Wakely, and she's been through this for 3 years. She's one of the kids who really pushed herself in the weight room, and she is clearly stronger than she's been in the past, and she's been much more productive offensively in camp than she's been in the past. I mean, she just looks like a kid who wants to be on the floor. Jess Howe played a lot for us as a freshman and has picked up where she left off offensively as a sophomore. And we're expecting her to be able to provide a lot of firepower for us. She's a kid that can hit at different tempos. We can move her around a little bit on offense. And then the third part is Brittany Moyer, a transfer from Lock Haven. And she's a kid that we know really well. We recruited her pretty hard out of high school. Obviously had to play against her twice last year. It's a much more comfortable thing to plan how to use her as opposed to trying to plan how to stop her. But that group of three, I think, gives us the opportunity to really have a productive season from our left sides. That's our right sides. There we've got a senior and a freshman combo, again with Rachel Picozzi and Kara Long, and both of them have done a really nice job. Again, for Kara, it's a lot about learning the speed of the game and learning to play in a multiple offense. For Rachel, she started in our program as a middle, has moved out to the right side, and I think she's probably better suited out there. She's a little bit more comfortable out there, and she's a kid that just works extremely hard. And I'm excited for her to get an opportunity to contribute in some way this year.
At a setter position, you see Anna going back into that full-time role
Yep,
for you?
she's another senior. She's got a lot of experience. She knows the offense. She understands what we're trying to do, and she'll kind of take the lead in that role. Been really encouraged by Mandy Meck coming in as a freshman. All kinds of athletic ability, just has to learn. It's a much faster game. It's a much more complicated offense that we're asking her to run. And so there's a lot for her to grasp mentally before she's able to perform at her best physically. But what we've seen from her so far has been really, really promising. And she has the opportunity to learn from Anna, which will also benefit her.
Yeah, how has that relationship been, kind of Anna taking that?
It's been good. Anna's just one of the great kids that you'll ever be around. One of the things that we talked about in preseason is help others, help yourself. And Anna has taken that to heart. She understands that by helping Mandy, she's helping our team. And even though Anna may not be around here to see the fruits of it with Mandy, it's part of the legacy that she can leave to this program is helping Mandy develop, helping Mandy understand what it takes to be a setter at this level, how to think tactically, improving her techniques in some areas. And she's just been a real pleasant person for Mandy to get to work with in her first year.
Moving defensively, obviously Madison Brigg coming back as your libero. Who are some of the other players along with her do you kind of see in that back line?
We've got, again, a small group, but a really, really solid group of kids who are going to get an opportunity to contribute this year. Carly Shortridge is a kid that can play multiple positions for us, has really worked hard to improve her ball handling, and that has shown in preseason camp. We've moved Madison Kleinfelter from being a backup setter to a full-time defensive role, and that's going to be a lot for her to learn. The defensive part, not so much. It's the serve receive that is going to take some time for her because setters don't do that. So as a setter her whole career, she's never been in a position where she's needed to receive serve, and now we're asking her to do it. But she's probably one of the hardest working kids that we have, and she will give us everything that she's got, and she's exceeded my expectations with her ball handling so far. And then the last piece of that group is freshman Sophie Kirshner, who's another player who can play all three defensive positions for us. She's a strong kid who has handled the ball extremely well for us so far. And so that group is positioned to improve our serve receive, which is something that we desperately need.
With the new alignment of the PSAC, you're now in the Southeast Division with Westchester, East Stroudsburg, and Cheney. With the new playoff criteria, does that alter your team's goals for this year?
No, the goal is always to make it into the playoffs. Win your division to get in. and then you have an opportunity, if you have one of the next 4 best records, to get in as well. The one nice thing about the new structure is it's eliminated the multiple matches on a day, which will benefit us, one, because we're not as deep as we've been in the past, and so physically it'll be to our advantage to not play 2 matches in a day, and 2, the preparation for us is important, and it can be difficult to try to prepare for 4 matches in a 24-hour period effectively.
Around the league, who do you see as some of the top teams in regards to returning talent?
In our division, Westchester has to be the favorite. They were a playoff and an NCAA team last year, and they didn't lose a lot of kids. They lost their best offensive player in terms of production, but they've got a lot of quality players coming back, so they're certainly going to be the team that everybody in our division is chasing. The other divisions are just really strong. I'm not even sure what we call them all. I think it's the Central, with Ship and Pitt Johnstown and Lock Haven and Millersville. That's a really, really good division. And so are the 2 out west. It's the nice thing about our conference is it's really, really strong, and you've got to be ready to play every night, or it can be a long night for you.